I'm gonna sneeze. Ah! Oh God, there's a man watching me out the window. Hello. Hey you guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Madison, and if not, welcome back. Today I am going to be doing my Top 10 Tuesday on all things extinct Disney. So this is something I'm so excited to talk about and a little bit emotional because I do get to look back through the history of Disney and all things that were once great but are now gone. Some of you that go to Walt Disney World regularly know how fun and emotional this is to look back on. Everybody has their favorite extinct attractions, character meet and greets, things like that. So without further ado, I'll just get into my top 10, give you a little bit of information about when these things existed at Disney and why I miss them so much. So actually, before I get started with this list, I'd like to give some honorable mentions because it was truly so hard to pick a top 10. I won't go into detail about these, but I do just want to mention them because there are so many more than 10 things that I miss at Walt Disney World. So the honorable mentions are Sweet Spells, which was the merchandise and sort of confectionery location at Hollywood Studios, and Starring Rolls Cafe. I absolutely loved going there growing up. I also really miss Snow White's Scary Adventures, the Honey, I Shrunk the Kid movie set, Lights, Motors, Action, the Streets of America that was so hard not to make my list, and the magic of Disney animation at Hollywood Studios. So, number 10 is the character meet and greet with Merlin. This character meet and greet ran from 1994 to 2006, and I remember it growing up. I have so many pictures of me and my cousins when we were really young, meeting him right in front of the carousel. Merlin used to come out and do a character meet and greet slash kind of show for all the kids and parents involved. So the parents would have a chance to see if they could pull the sword from the stone, and of course nobody could ever do it. And then when Merlin invited a child up, they would pull the sword from the stone and be declared ruler for the day. So that was something that was so cool, and I do miss so much because I think it was such a good meet and greet. Now if you're behind the castle and in front of the carousel, you can sometimes catch Anastasia and Drizella, as well as the fairy godmother, but I do wish Merlin would come back. Number 9 is the Monorail CoCaptain. So this ran from the monorail's opening until 2009. Unfortunately, the experience was closed due to a very serious accident, but while the Monorail CoCaptain experience was available, it was a really great time. Basically, if you wanted to ride the monorail from the TTC to the front of the Magic Kingdom in the front car with the captain, you could ask to do that when you were boarding, and you would be placed to the side to wait for the next available car. Since this was something that happened before social media was really big, a lot of people didn't know about it, and so it was a really unique offering. My family did it in 2008 when we were visiting, and it was such a cool experience, except we got about halfway to the Magic Kingdom and we were stopped due to a tornado warning. So we were on the monorail in the middle of the tracks. We couldn't go any further. We sort of had to sit and lie low, hoping that the tornado would pass. I don't think it ever came to fruition. We never saw a tornado or anything like that, but the winds did pick up, and that was the only time we did it, so it was a bit scary. In my memory, it was a really cool thing to be able to see that view of Magic Kingdom as you approached it from the front. Just really great, and I do understand why they had to close it down, but I think it would be something that was really fun if there was a safer way to do it. Okay, number 8 are the parades at Animal Kingdom. I absolutely loved Mickey's Jam and Jungle Parade and all of the other parades that they had at Magic Kingdom. These ran from 2001, so only a couple years after the park's opening, to 2014 when they were closed. Since so many people think the Animal Kingdom is a half-day park, I think these would still be really great because it gives people something to do. I don't think the Animal Kingdom is a half-day park. I think there's plenty to do, but I would still love a parade. I thought they were so fun. You could see Minnie, Mickey, Donald, Daisy, Goofy, the whole crowd dressed up in their safari suits, and then they had a lot of key Animal Kingdom characters, so you would get the characters from the Jungle Book and the Lion King coming through on the parade. You also had performers, so performers that dance in Africa now would probably be part of the parade, as well as men in stilts. It was just such a fun parade. I loved watching it, and I think it was the most colorful and exciting parade that Disney's had in a long time, so I wish that would come back. Number 7 are the Citizens of Hollywood. Now, I understand that these are not extinct, but as far as I'm concerned, they are going extinct. So the characters of Hollywood are not gone, but a few years back they did reduce the number from 29 Citizens of Hollywood down to 10, so they're not out as frequently and they don't have as large a variety of shows going on anymore. I used to think that the Citizens of Hollywood were the coolest thing when you walked into the park. You would see all sorts of old-timey movie actresses and actors, the policemen, the directors. There was always something going on, and they were always involving the audience, telling funny jokes, putting on entertaining shows, and it really just helped to add to the magic and theming of Hollywood studios. It truly did make Hollywood studios feel like you were entering a world that was about the making of the movies, and I do miss it so much. I wish they would come back in their full swing, but I think with the changing of the theming for Hollywood studios in the future, we're going to see less and less of them, unfortunately. Number 6 is Ellen's Energy Adventure. This ride was open in Epcot from 1996 until it closed in 2017. It closed the summer after my college program, and I absolutely loved riding it while I was on my college program. It was a great escape from the heat, and it was a great rest for your legs. You had 45 minutes of sitting in those carts and listening to Bill Nye and Ellen DeGeneres make cheesy jokes. So there's really nothing better than that. I do understand that a lot of people thought it was boring and really slow, but I do think for the true Disney fans who grew up with it, it was really easy to appreciate. I am excited to see what they do with the Guardians of the Galaxy ride that will be going in its place, but I do miss Ellen and I miss the rest from the heat. Number 5 is the Great Movie Ride. The Great Movie Ride was the last of the attractions that was open on opening day of Hollywood Studios, and it closed on the very same day as Ellen's Energy Adventure in 2017. This ride was so truly representative of Hollywood Studios. It was all about the making of the movies, and it was a great ride through some of the most classic movies of our time. The Great Movie Ride taught me about so many movies that I love dearly now, like Casablanca. I love that it was a spiel ride and that you got to interact with the cast members and that there were also audio animatronics at the same time. I loved the movie scene at the end where you pulled up into the room and got to see that montage of the history of the world's greatest movies. I thought it was so good and just such a fun, refreshing way to get out of the heat again. Number 4 is Mickey's Toontown Fair. This land in Magic Kingdom opened in 1998 and closed in 2011, and I am still so sad about it. I do love the new part of Fantasyland and Storybook Circus, but I just don't think anything can beat Mickey's Toontown Fair. I loved being able to walk through Minnie and Mickey's houses, and as a kid it really felt like it was bringing those characters to life for me. I was getting to see where Mickey and Minnie lived, where they ate their breakfast, where they sat down on the couch, and it was just so cool. Number 3 on my list is the Backlot Tour. This attraction opened shortly after Hollywood Studios did in 1989 and closed in 2014, and I still miss it to this day. It was another one of those attractions that was truly representative of Hollywood Studios. It was all about the making of the movies and the behind the scenes of the movies, and that's something that I loved so much. I loved the queue, getting to watch sort of the director's cut of Pearl Harbor. I loved getting to watch the filming of the harbor attack at the special effects water tank, and then getting to go on the ride and seeing all of the sort of props and decorations that were in so many famous movies that everybody on the attraction knew and loved. It was another spiel ride which I loved, and I loved more than anything being able to see the Eiffel Tower on the tour. I think that the Eiffel Tower is a top contender for icon for Hollywood Studios Park. I think it is better than the Tower of Terror, the Old Sorcerer Hat, and the Chinese Theater. If anything should be the icon for Hollywood Studios, I think it should be the Eiffel Tower. Number 2, this makes me emotional, is Wishes. Wishes debuted at the Magic Kingdom in 2003 and it ended in 2017. 2017 was a really sad year for attractions and experiences. I was able to see Wishes one last time when I went to the Magic Kingdom in March of 2017. I remember watching it at the very beginning of my college program right after I got my Blue ID, and I was with my roommates and we all cried because it was just such a magical show, and we knew that watching it was the start of a really magical adventure. And then I remember watching it as I was leaving my college program, At the time, I didn't realize that I might not ever see it again, but when I went back in March to visit, I did know that Wishes would be leaving at that point, so I really tried to take it in. I do love Happily Ever After. I think it is an excellent show, and in all respects, it is probably better than Wishes in terms of technology, the lasers, the castle projections. The whole thing is probably a better show, but Wishes just holds so much sentimental value, and I think if they could just play it a couple times a year so that I could see it again, I would really love that. It was my whole childhood. I grew up with it. It's just hard to let that one go. All right, so the number one thing I miss at Walt Disney World is Push the Talking Trash Can. So if you were at Walt Disney World between 1995 and 2014, there was a chance that you were going to run into Push. I was looking online about Push and I noticed that his home base was Tomorrowland in the Magic Kingdom, but I 100% remember talking to him in the queue for Animal Kingdom to go into the park. So I'm wondering if that was sort of a training experiment that they were doing out there, but I have vivid memories of standing outside of Animal Kingdom, queuing to get into the park and talking to Push the Talking Trash Can. He was so cool. If you knew about him, he was a really great experience. And for guests that didn't know about him, it was so funny because they would walk up, try to throw trash into him, and then all of a sudden he would start talking to you and walk around and follow you. He was really such a cool piece of Disney technology, and I'm not sure why they got rid of him, but I wish he would have stayed because he was so cool and so fun to interact with. So, did I get everything on your list? Is there anything that I forgot about? If I did, mention it in the comments and I'll have a look. There are so many things that are extinct from Disney now, especially at Hollywood Studios. I love talking about it. I love seeing what everyone's favorites are. So please do let me know in the comments. If you haven't liked and subscribed yet, it's right down below. Just do it. I do really appreciate it. I appreciate everyone that watches every video, and I love to hear all of your comments. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you real soon. Bye!